Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio and the Spiritist Society of Virginia, here in one more Friday Inspirational Talks. We have a very, very special encounter today with Dr. Sergio Tizin, who comes to tell us about how to keep our balanced mind during this ongoing pandemic. I know many people are like, I don't want to know anymore. No, we do. We here want to stay awake. We don't want to pretend. We don't want to run away from it. We want to be here. The Spiritist Society of Virginia, the Spiritist efforts in DC, it's also the extent to Kardec Radio. It's the Spiritist Center in our homes. What a blessing. Yes, we want to be with people. We want to hug people. We want to cherish this beauty of social interaction. But let us feel it in our hearts. So next time we're together physically, we can no longer take it for granted, right? How many of us took it for granted? And now we're being asked to value it to the max. I want to value it. You do too. And we are here with Paloma and Daisy. Hello, friends.
Hi. Hello, Vanessa.
Hello. And Paloma is going to be with a message for us, because this is like our Friday public meeting in the Spiritist Center. Right, Narciso? Right, Sol Souza? Right, friends? Keep coming Friday, asking questions. We're going to soon have a very instructive conversation with Dr. Sergio Tizin on how to keep a balanced mind during this ongoing pandemic. We need more tools, more resources. There's so much to learn. So let us begin with the message, right, Paloma?
Right. We're going to read a message that you can find in the Spiritist Magazine, edition 47, from Eurípides Barçanufo. And he starts by saying, "Brothers and sisters, may the Master's blessing fall upon your hearts. The development of the constructive elements of your mind is one of the most imperious necessities of your spirit. The utilization of the opportunities of service. This is the immediate duty of the individuals who dream of the happiness of a better life, free from the storms of all kinds, which humankind, a condition of their own inferiority. The luminous reach of the work of Master Allan Kardec is the most powerful vehicle that will trigger the lever of the spiritual progress of earthly humanity. If you could conceive of the miraculous power of pain in the healing of moral wounds, then you would have to be more careful in making the most of this great vehicle of spiritual recovery. The human individual has shown eternal allergy to pain. It is understood to some extent in minds that have not been clarified in the true sense of life, but in relation to the Spiritist, such rebelliousness, such ignorance of the purest reasons constitute irreparable mistake. Let us seek the harmonious tuning of the practical work of the saving concepts of the work codified by Master Allan Kardec. Let us correspond to the effort of the one who had exhausted himself in the laborious and relentless work of the coordination of the teachings of the spirits, aiming at only the luminous script of the humanity, millennially mined by processes of physical and moral degradation. Correct, while there is time, the sinuous position of the thoughts that build nothing. Elevate words and deeds to the highest, seeking harmony and peace. Put your own interest at the same level as their neighbors. Seek the completion of the lessons set forth in the gospel. This is the sure path to redemption. along with the relative understanding of the reasons of human pains and struggles. May Jesus help us.
Thank you so much, Paloma, for selecting such a timely message for us. Euripides Barçanufo, for those who don't know, is precisely the one in this picture. Yes, and Paloma and I did not make arrangements. Yes, I chose this picture today, and she chose the message. So you see, there's something for us to meditate about, the good spirits that lovingly care for each one of us, to be easy on them. Now we invite you to pray with us, shall we, friends? Let us pray. Let's not forget, I see here beautiful friends, John De Rosa, Flavia, Daniel Pian, the ones that were writing here. Feel free to say hi. Feel free to ask your question. Soon we're going to have a beautiful, instructive conversation with Dr. Sergio Tizing on the balance of the mind during this pandemic. Meanwhile, let us pray. Let us pray together. It's not an individual petition. It's a collective effort. How do we do it? It's by following words, feelings, the same mindset, surrendering to form a current, wherever we are, and thus being of good use to the good spirits. Dear Mother, Father God, we're deeply grateful for the constant invitation, the invitation to the good, the invitation to be useful in the works of the good on earth. Right now, humanity is being tested. We're all being tested. It's not easy. But we want to be good students and apply ourselves during this exam time. Be focused without running away from the duties to be fulfilled, and to surrender ourselves to the works of yours. We are tired of prioritizing our failing will that leads us to troubles, leads us to diseases, leads us to imbalance. We would like today to give one step ahead into calibrating ourselves with your will of love, and thus being good instruments one day. We hope that these vibrations envelop all of us in our homes, spreading themselves out to the neighbors, from the neighbors to our cities, states, countries, the whole planet Earth. Visualizing the good all around the world. Visualizing peace and harmony, friendship, sincerity, honesty, the good of your love. Feeling the protection of your providence, we'd like to ask you to inspire all of us to work together for the benefit of all. May this instructive conversation with Dr. Sergio Tizing illuminate us, bring us new hope, new tools for a life of love with you. Asking for your guidance, feeling your protection. We're honored to receive your permission to open this moment of therapy for our minds and bodies, and so be it. All right. One more step, right, Daisy, before we begin. We have the Spirit Book moment, because it's a Spiritist Center. We need to study Spiritism, not only in our talk, but open the books, which is the Spirit's Book. Here comes, right, Daisy?
Yes, that's right, Vanessa. So, friends, tonight we are continuing our Spiritist Book moment. Just to remind us, we are studying part 3 of the Spirit's Book, and chapter 7 that talks about moral perfection. And we are right at the part that we're discussing the passions. So, tonight, we're gonna study question 909. And Kardec asked the higher spirits, could humans always overcome their evil tendencies through their own efforts? And the high spirits, they answer, yes, and often with very little effort. What they lack is willpower. How few of you make such an effort, however? As we've seen throughout the Spirits book, the high spirits are actually pretty straightforward with us. And they don't sugarcoat. So right here, we see that they go straight to the point. Can we, through our own efforts, overcome evil tendencies? And they say, yes, for sure we can. And they also say, often, that means very frequently, it requires very little effort. But we lack willpower. So let's break this down together, friends. Will. In another book, the book Thought and Life by Emmanuel, Emmanuel brings to us a whole chapter talking about the will. He describes that in our minds, there are several departments: department of intelligence, department of memory, department of desires, but the will, it manages everything. And in Spiritism, we know everything starts in the mind. So the will, our will, has such a strong power. But it depends how we apply it. Goodwill or ill will, it's on us. So, in order for us to overcome these evil tendencies, how do we overcome these evil tendencies? Kardec himself asked in the Spirit's book, there are the laws of God, the divine laws, but why we need to keep ourselves being reminded of these laws? Why can't we just know and follow through, right? And the High Spirit says, well, most often than not, we either forget them or we disregard them. So in order for us, friends, to overcome these evil tendencies, the High Spirit's saying, yes, we need to continue putting this will, right? Our will, our mind over matter. And how do we do it? Yes, we need practice and repetition, effort. That's why we study. Yes, we do need to be reminded of God's laws to know what is the right pathway. But the second part that's interesting is that he says it requires little effort. So it might seem like a hard step for us to overcome our evil tendencies and goals next. But it just requires one tiny step. Imagine here, a line. This is us going through the pathway in life, one step at the other. But if one day, friend, we make the decision to do that little step that might be a little outside of that pathway, the second, the third, the fourth, when we get to the fifth step, we will be in a much better place. So that's why the spirits are reminding us it's that first step. It might seem so small, but it will for sure change our lives. A lot of food for thought for us to reflect, and that is our Spirit's Book Moments of tonight.
Thank you so much, Daisy, for this. And we'd like to welcome our dear friend, Dr. Sergio Tizin. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you. I am very happy because your invitation, Daisy, Poliana, Vanessa, we are here in Rio de Janeiro trying to work as a doctor and as a spiritist too. I'm very happy to stay here with you during some minutes. We have so many issues to see because of very nice frontiers between spirituality, spiritism, and common life.
Thank you, Sergio. So, for those who are not acquainted with him, he's a cardiologist. He has so many frontiers of work, but we would say he's not only a physician, and he has a beautiful family in which he has physicians as well as children, but as a spiritist, he decided to embrace spiritism and advocate for its cause and practice spiritism. His father was a very influential spiritist in Brazil, and he was president of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation and very good friends with Chico Xavier. So there is much, especially to the works that Dr. Thiessen does in mediumship, I would say. Very precious and valuable. Because nowadays, many people, they are theoretical spiritists. Right, Sergio? So we want to talk and I will, let's talk a little bit, and soon Paloma and Daisy will join us again for more conversations. At this first moment, would like to begin, before we talk about the pandemic, how important it is not only to study but to practice spiritism. Because, Sergio, we see nowadays in the world many people studying, giving talks, or listening to talks, but they don't practice spiritism. They are what we Kardec calls theoretical spiritists. They don't know what mediumship is all about. They've never been to a mediumistic meeting, which is very different when compared to Kardec's time. Do you want to talk a little bit about the importance of practicing spiritism, not only in our hearts, daily lives, but practicing spiritism in terms of getting to know mediumship and the works that we do, etc.?
Yes, Vanessa. I always like to study spiritism because of my parents. Just when I was a little boy, hearing about spiritism, and during all my life, spiritism was and is a very important part of my education and my readings and my work. Because of medicine, during the last maybe 4 decades, I am trying to help people with different medical problems in terms of organic, biological, physical problems in medicine, independently of the age and gender of the people, because in my office and because of the two Spirit Society in Rio, open to the community, receiving people that have so many different medical problems. We have in Brazil and Rio de Janeiro, but we have the same in all over the world, very common mental problems, disturbances, and different diagnoses in psychiatry. So, because of mediumship, because we understand that together with the signs and symptoms in different diagnoses in medicine and different patients, always we have one spiritual context related to the suffering in those days because of the past lives, actions against the divine law. So I was learning with the experience in my life in the Spirit Center, working with mediums, with very good mediums, and including many of them doctors too. Doctors, mediums, doctors. So because of the facilities from the mediumship, we can enter the spiritual reality of my patients and the patients of the Spiritist group, the Spiritist Society. And we have another very nice aspect of the healing process, because we utilize the magnetism, the fluid therapy, the therapeutic magnetism inside the Spirit Society. So we have a dual approach to those patients. We need to care of the spirits related to each case. And I and my group, we are doing this during the last 4 decades with 2 meetings in each week. So we have now patients from all of the countries, because I visit many of them. I suppose that because of the Spiritism and because of very different invitations, I stay during some days, weeks, or months in 35 different countries around the world. So establishing a very nice relationship between Spiritist groups in those countries. Or I was doing lectures and conferences or studies in terms of Spiritist doctrine, but frequently participating of the mediumship groups, trying to help the patients from that countries and groups and cities. But when I come back from different trips, working in this frontier, I maintain the relationship with the people. So I receive in all the days of my life, asking people asking help because I am presenting to the world, to the groups, the results of that approach. So we can see the difference between before and after this approach. What kind of approach? The disobsession treatment, and as soon as possible, the magnetic or fluid therapy approach, because we need to change some molecules, some aspect of the physical body of the people with some different illnesses, mental and physical illnesses. And the same, we need to pay attention to the perispirit, because all of the medical problems, they come from the perispirit to the physical body, from the soul disables and problems from the past life. So this is another medicine. We are changing the idea of the diseases and medical problems in these origins, and because of this, because of the tools of the spiritism that we have from spiritism, we can put those different tools in the benefit to the people in those countries and from many different groups. For example, we have patients when those groups try to help, but without some benefit. So the case come to me and to our group, to another trying to help those very important, severe, and disabled medical problems. So, yes, please, Vanessa.
So since you're talking about these severe problems, nowadays with the pandemic, like the coronavirus, would you say that some cases could be related to obsession? The predisposition to the disease.
But common cases or cases related to the pandemic, to the virus, to
Yes.
Okay. I am doing, because of the pandemic, I am doing two different aspects of trying to help. One is the same that I was talking about minutes ago. So I have many and many people in the hospitals, in Rio, in different provinces and states in Brazil and cities. And the worst cases, the people from families, from spirit societies, they ask to our group to help, because they are in the frontier between the life and the death, because acute respiratory distress, mechanical ventilation in intensive care unit. And so we have many and many different people. I could talk around the world too, because they know about this approach and this work. And frequently we open those cases trying to help. In those cases, we have many spiritual problems, because the suffering is consequences from bad things done in the past. And we have spirits too. We have obsessors. It's the same if we have tuberculosis, if we have malaria, if we have acute pneumonia from one bacteria, one common bacteria. because now we have the virus and we have Ebola in Africa. We have all the microorganisms. We can relate with predisposition from spiritual problems from the past. So always we have the possibility to help these patients too. And we need to choose. This is very difficult to me. I need to do one choosing what the case that I will put in front of the others, because I have 200 of cases in a waiting list of cases to help. And one segment, one part of those 200, we have patients from the new coronavirus. But I have other patients with very sensitive problems in medicine. For example, little boys with leukemia, or for example, many cases of autism in a severe fashion. And the same, I have patients with depression disease with 2 or 3 suicide attempts. And so I need to have one idea how to choose the cases that the group, the spiritual environment in those meetings could help so many different patients. And I am doing, Vanessa, another procedure, very simple too. All of them are simple. But in some cases, we need to work with some complexities because of the spiritual reality and situations from each one of our patients. But I would like to tell you that I create 4 years ago in December 2016, one group of prayer for humanity. First in Portuguese, me, 2 friends from Rio, and 3 friends from Portugal, because they are spirits and I visit Portugal many times. So with the time coming, before the beginning of the pandemic, we are the meeting of 900 people from 20 different countries. But when the pandemic surged in the world, I don't know if this was the main aspect, but I received many different people asking to enter the group. And in the beginning, I was doing one prayer by week. And because of my possibility staying more time at home, I understand as a feeling, maybe an intuition, and because thousands of people dying each day in the United States, in Brazil, in Italy, in the United Kingdom, I understand to do the prayer all the days from February this year. So now we have 5,700 people from 35 different countries. The idea is they help me in praying for the people with different bad situations in their lives, because we are trying to help by the prayer because of the people in wars, in conflicts, in internal revolutions in Africa, and other problems in health in all the humanity, including problems very difficult from many people in Africa. But because of the new coronavirus, we are dealing with so many possibilities to help with the people suffering different problems, including the consequences of the pandemic in the United States, in Argentina, in Italy, in Spain, in Auckland, New Zealand, and different cities from Australia, because of the linking that we have in this group with so many people. And I suppose that the number of people are continuing growing because the fear, because of the idea of the people could have the virus, and because of the risk of life, and because of a difficult to have the hope for the future, and because the problems of the economics, because of the lack of work to many people in Brazil and around the world. And we have very important social problems too. But we are receiving people in the prayer group with very different medical problems, and frequently very severe problems. So because I cannot help open individually each case that the people that are asking to the group trying some kind of help, I am utilizing the mechanism of the intercessory prayer to help. And it's very nice, Vanessa, and beautiful and nice colleagues together with us now. We are receiving the background in terms of, well, when I was inside the moments of the prayer, after some 2 weeks, for example, my son or my daughter or my husband or my wife, independently of the link in the family, and frequently by colleagues of work or a neighbor and friends, because we have some capillarity between the information about the value of that work. So I suppose that when I began that 4 years ago, I do not imagine what we will have in the future that we have now because of the pandemic. Because the good spirits, I understand now, that they know what is coming to the humanity during 1, 2, 3 years, we don't know. So they by intuition, they invite me to do something in one aspect of more general benefit to the suffering people, I suppose.
It's beautiful, Sergio, because nowadays many people cannot do volunteer works physically, like we do the homeless because of the social distancing. The rules changed, especially in the US, for example. The rules are very strict sometimes, like going to the nursing homes and visiting the elderly. But you were talking about the new way of being of help, prayer groups, intercessory prayer. I don't think many people know what this means. So we want to give one step back, because many people who are entering here, especially cardiac radio, maybe it's new to them what it means to do a prayer for others, intercessory prayer under the eyes of Spiritism. So would you like to share with us what an intercessory prayer is and what happens on the behind the scenes spiritually, so people understand of this beautiful work that can be done, and probably we're not doing as much as we should?
Well, Vanessa, we learn by Spiritism that we have the possibility to stay with God, to link ourselves with Jesus, with the higher spirits, with the angels, with the protective spirits, our angels more near us, the family spirits. So Spiritism give to us a very important, real, and nice idea of the world, the universe, the loss from God to all over the universe, the creation. And it's not different in this world. We need to know what kind of world we are, what kind of humanity. We, by Spiritism, we can understand about our limitations, our necessities, our predisposition to be sick, to have mental disturbances during all of our reincarnations. And Spiritism give to us the idea of the spiritual realm, the spiritual reality. We are the same in the other side of life. We have Emmanuel in a very nice book named Roteiro, maybe another name in English, I don't remember now.
Not in English yet. Yeah.
I know this, I suppose to. So Emmanuel tell us about the earth as a big school, a school of the souls or spirits, because we need to complete some basic education process. So this is a school. In Portuguese, educandário, the name from Emmanuel, a big educandário, a big school. So we need that we are a big hospital. We have spirits with different, very different, common and important diseases in the spiritual reality. So we can look the patients now as frequently with some medical problems, but they come with the different diseases from the spiritual reality when they take another physical body in the next evolutionary process in a new reincarnation. But when we are working with mediums, or when we are a medium with clairvoyance, we can know about reality. And this is a very big hospital, and in some way a psychiatry hospital. So the prayer, it's important. When we know about the reality, Spiritism, Spiritist doctrine, Allan Kardec and many other good spirits, they tell to us the best idea of our reality. So we are having one invitation to work, to help and benefit the other people. We need to understand about values, about destination, about the true reason of the life. We are dealing with some illusion about life. If we have the spirit doctrine and maybe other religions and knowledge about reality, but spiritism is the best in our consideration, because many aspects that we cannot see in other philosophies and religions and science. So the idea is the invitation is growing. We need to open our hearts. We need to understand about the difference from materialism and the spirituality. We need to understand about vices and virtues. We will never be happy in the future, beginning now in some way, if we do not change ourselves, if we do not do some kind of self-knowledge. We need to look inside ourselves, in the front of a mirror, a crystal, Bohemic from Czechoslovakia, of Czech Republic, the best in the world, because we need to know about what kind of humanity, what kind of soul we are. If I do not know about me, about myself, I will lose time, because I will stay in the same grade of spiritual evolution. And all of us in the Spirit Center, Spirit lectures and books and meetings, we are learning about what is important to do here. So the prayer, the self-knowledge, the inner enlightenment, the work in terms of fraternity, solidarity, charity, empathy, compassion. We need to change. We are in this world, the earth, during many and many different millenniums, in lives and lives only in some kind of materialistic point of view. So we understand now why Spiritism, why the good spirits trying to help us in terms of a new conscience about reality. If I don't know about what kind of world it is, who we are, I will stay in the same. So now, because of Spiritism, we have different possibilities to change ourselves, changing our minds about ourselves and about reality, and working. We need to try to be happy, caring the people, and not asking the people to carry us. So this is one very nice invitation. So pandemic, independently of many bad problems to the people, to the families, suffering in terms of all the humanity, all of the countries were visited by the virus. I remember, Vanessa, when the people was dying all the days, I had one invitation from the higher spirit to work in the spirit society, to enter in the darkness and to deal with a very complex spiritual demand or situation against the happiness of the humanity. In a future, in a little, in some time, we can talk some aspect about this, but we put our group with a very interesting and nice experience to deal with a very hard mental, spiritual situation, to help in the origin of the virus, because we have one relationship between the virus in the spiritual world and the materialization of the virus to do some harm to the humanity. And they talked to us. It was a very complex 3 hours of work in the same to deal with the very very different aspects of that reality in the inner planet, inside the magma of the geophysical and spiritual reality of the earth. So we understand too, Vanessa, that we have this invitation to, because in terms of lockdown, in terms of social isolation and quarantine, we have a different possibility. We need to develop and to reestablish some good possibilities in house, at home, with our love and our components of our family. We can do some kinds of new idea of the feelings between the people. We have time to do some big hug, love. We have the opportunity to stay with our children, to do some good aspects of life that we left because we are always trying to be rich or to be with some money, running to the society to have more and more and more. This is one kind of invitation to. We have to, for example, Vanessa, medicine is changing. Nowadays, I am participating of the higher events in medicine, especially in cardiovascular medicine, in cardiology, but more important in psychiatry. The World Psychiatry Congress, for example, in Lisbon last year, or in Jerusalem in the last December, we are knowing the new frontier independently of spiritism, because this is one aspect that, because this is this comes from a growing step of all the humanity and medicine too. So we can see in Jerusalem a beautiful congress with 400 psychiatrists, psychologists, psychoanalysts, and psychotherapists from different countries discussing spirituality and mental health, spirituality and mental disease. In Lisbon, we had 6,000 colleagues in the general psychiatry. So we are dealing with gratitude, with prayer, with meditation, with forgiveness. We can know about these different inner feelings, how we can prevent problems in the cardiovascular and in mental disease. And independently of preventive medicine in those areas, we can too work in terms of therapeutically. For example, as a neuroscientist, for example, if I establish gratitude in the end of each day, I remember some aspect in the work, in the street, in the neighbor, that we can be grateful to God, to Jesus, to our spiritual protector, or when the common people that offer to me a good aspect that I need in that moment. And after the day, during the preparing of to sleep, if I put in a paper, in a blank paper, 3 aspects all of the days, because when I put the patient or I put a common, normal, regular people in the resonance image with function resonance, I can see some lights and colors in the brain because of limbic system, amygdala, and different aspects of cortex. And because of this lighting, we can have one explosion of neurotransmitters that, because of circulation, they are going to all the cells, all the tissues, and all the organs. This is one kind of new medicine.
Mm-hmm.
In not only gratitude, but forgiveness and other aspects too. This is an issue for one next possibility to talk about with all of your group, maybe.
Yes, and since we are now focused on the pandemic, how to be balanced during this time, we know in the US and even in Brazil and other countries, domestic violence increased during this time. What would you say to those who experience domestic violence or who know somebody who is experiencing it, especially during the times of pandemic? How can you be balanced when you're facing abuse?
Very important, Vanessa, too. For example, a very recent study from United Kingdom comparing this recent month from February to the beginning of September. We have in United Kingdom the double of cases of depression and the double of suicide attempts and suicide with the death of the people. The same in Brazil. And in Brazil, we have the anxiety as a very important mental problem in all of the country. Depression, suicide, and anxiety too. So because of the necessity to social isolation, we have feminicide, we have child abuse, we have violence against the woman in all over the world, but in Brazil and North America, we have some growing in the number of cases. So the same, we need to try to understand the process, to have the understanding of we are sons and daughters of God. We are spirits. We need to schedule some possibilities to try to obtain moral acquisitions. We have the invitations to be closer between all of us. We need to value the reading of good books, good messages. We need to valorize the gospel according to Spiritism. But not only because we have all of the one big word, Spiritists. We are so many in one idea of near 8 billions of incarnated people. So this problem is universal. So we need to find, because of the different cultures and different possibilities of the religions and philosophies and science, we need to think about how to deal with those new aspects. So the books, the message, the prayer, the conversations, the dialogue, the possibility to ask the others to the conversation at home, and do some good things. For example, we have the notebooks, we have the cell phones, we have the social possibilities to stay with our colleagues and friends, and the other from the family, but they are outside, they are in their homes. But we need to have the possibility to do some course in the internet in terms of meditation, in terms of yoga, in terms of dance. We can stay in the Word in our homes, trying to have one reference in terms of eternal life, in terms of what we are doing now, what we are doing here, what kind of word we are, what kind of souls and spirits of people we are, and trying to look for and to seek to the best, the beautiful, the enlightenment to ourselves. But we have the darkness. We have some kind of clouds and darkness inside of us, ourselves. But we have more severe cases that are knocking the door of our homes to enter and to do the things that can hurt the families, the social life, our minds, our feelings. We need to study to understand reality. But we have very different tools. Very nice. For example, I have one daughter trying to learn about a musical instrument, maybe flute, maybe violin. We can try to think, to know about one different science and course about a different way to maintain our mental health, our serenity. But we cannot forget that we have some kind of main invitation to work, to benefit all of the people. And when we do this, we are helping ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we are dealing with the best feelings of the universe and the best spirits around us. And this is preventive medicine. And we have one therapeutically action of the good spirits to all of us.
Wow. I'm going to ask Paloma and Daisy to join us, because as we are wrapping up this conversation, Paloma and Daisy, if you'd like to ask a particular question in these final moments to Dr. Tizin regarding this topic of how we can achieve this balance during the pandemic.
I think Dr. Tizin brought to us a lot of tools and reminders, very practical in what can we do to achieve the mental balance, but also reminding us that if we want to keep balance, we help others. And that was a fantastic reminder so that we don't take on the position of victims and self-pity and be working with Jesus team. So thank you, Dr. Tizin. I thought that was a huge highlight for us tonight.
Thank you, Paloma.
Thank
And
you.
Daisy, before we go there, Daniel Pian is from our group, and he's asking, thank you, Daniel. Considering that we're seeing longer hours of work and a lot of imbalance in our current lives, what should be our priorities? Could you please tell us how we should prioritize or rank among work, pray, voluntary work, and family time, rest, and exercise?
Well, Daniel, thank you for your question. But I think we have many differences in terms of all of us comparing ourselves. So we each of us, we have a big, long history from different reincarnations and experiences from the past. We can feel some more affinity to science, to philosophy, or to religion, or art. But we have the potential to do many things. And I think that we can choose because of our tendencies, because of our history of this reincarnation. For example, we can do something during all those decades from the last time in our lives. But I have a dream. I have many dreams. For example, to use the violin. This is my preferable musical instrument. So the people during their lives, they would like to do many things, but because of responsibility, because of necessity, because of elections, we are going to different ways and doing different experiences. But now, but not always, and not for all of the people, but when we have the possibility to think about, to ask our hearts and feelings, what I would like to do. Many people, music, dance, yoga, meditation, or trying to do some study. For example, many people in a spiritism activity, frequently we think, wow, I would like to see all of the books from Emmanuel or the André Luiz series of books. But because of the lacking of time, we need to do some kind of priorities and elections. But if now we have more time, we need to choose and to try to obtain more contents from different spiritists or different books that we have in the society, in the libraries that we can take or we can share by cell phone or tablets. So this is very individual. Individually, we can choose according our dreams and preferences. For example, I would like to remember that we should help. The priority should be, in my point of view, charity, working to benefit people without any kind of recompensation. Mm-hmm. We need to be more fraternal, because the heaven is waiting for us to a better life. And we know that the heaven is very near us, but we need to have the possibility to stay there because of good feelings, good actions, and working, lifting our dreams aside and using our energy, our understanding about life, our irradiations of our thoughts by the prayer, by waves of charity, waves of love, because we are in the United States of America, Rio, in Virginia, but we are citizens from the world. Mm-hmm. We need to break the frontiers. We need to construct bridges, spiritual bridges. We need to look to the people in China, in India, in New Zealand, in Argentina, Uruguay, Mexico, Honduras, Canada, Virginia, Florida, California. We need to see as a big family. We need to learn to love the people with the very different cultures, and frequently in a big situation of poverty, mm-hmm. without health, without meals, without a house. And we are responsible too, because that idea, that old idea that we need to care only of that people that near us or around our physical life, this is limited. We need to open our souls. And I will tell you about one experience, not only to this world, to this humanity. When we establish some beautiful relationship between astronomy, astrophysics, cosmology, knowing about the different stars, the different groups of stars and galaxies and planets. When we study about Sirius, about Capella, when we study different humanities, we know about solidarity between all the worlds and different planets and humanities. And we use this in the prayer because we ask the benefits from spirits in a moral level completely different of the majority that we know that are living here. And I have mediums around me during the prayer, but in different cities around those countries, they after one prayer, they give me some experiences that they have during the prayer, and very nice experiences from the common things around us, but frequently with some different situations on earth, on different spheres of life in the spiritual realm, in the earth, on the earth, but outside the earth too. So when we are open our minds, open our hearts in spiritual aspect, we can be happy. We can stay in a very good and nice spiritual environment during all that days. But the main thing, we do not should think so much in ourselves. Mm-hmm. Use energy and time and care, all of them that we can, that ask to us, trying some amelioration, some benefits, some recovery of one medical or non-medical aspect.
Yes, thank you so much. This is the take-home message for all of us. To stay balanced, we need to be selfless. We need to think of the general good, to vibrate higher, to make better associations. So, thank you so much, Dr. Tizin, for being here with us, sharing so much with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you for it. But before we wrap up, I'd like to invite Luciana and Carol to join us, just to share what they were teaching the children at our other channel. Right, Carol and Luciana? Would you like to...
It was a very beautiful lesson tonight because we talked to the children about mental hygiene, about the fact that they can choose their feelings and replace the heavier ones by lighter ones that can bring them greater joy. And we even talked to them about them using the shampoo of love to wash their minds away. We told them that God grants everyone who reincarnates on the earth their very own shampoo of love. Right, Lou?
That's
Thank
right.
you, my friend.
So in order for them to see and be more close to them, right? We use the shampoo of love.
Right.
And it's just to take this heavy sensation, all these heavy feelings that we have in our brain, and they cause a lot of problems nowadays with the pandemic, right? We see like families being abused and all this stuff. So this is a lesson for all of us to use this shampoo and wash away all these heavy feelings that we have of anger and anxiety, and change and transform and be more selfless and help others. Always taking the tips from the good spirits. Work for others, worry about others, and then you feel much better.
That's
Yes,
so
we
beautiful.
washed our heads, our minds many times tonight, right, Lou?
Right. We're clean.
That's our next session after the inspirational talk. It's gonna be a hair salon with the
Yeah. Good idea.
The shampoo
The
of
whole
love is free of
neighborhood.
charge. It's God given for everyone. So
Thank
we're
you.
good.
Yes.
Thank you, my friends. Thank you.
So, Dr. Teason, thank you so much. Right now, we're going to invite Daisy to kindly lead us into the short spiritual passes, followed by Paula, who is here with us. Hi, Paula.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Paula, for joining us. She's going to be doing the final prayer.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
Thank you for being with us. So let us all together, since Dr. Teason talked about the power prayer, let us then follow the passes by Daisy and the final prayer by our dear Paula.
So, friends, let us now take this moment to close our eyes. Let us take a deep breath in, inhaling peace and love. Let us exhale sentiments of hatred, anxiety. Let us inhale forgiveness, patience, understanding. And let us exhale sentiments of jealousy, fear, hatred. And as we do this exercise, we see ourselves as a being of light. We see that from our hearts, a beautiful light shines through that envelops our whole physical body, our home, family members, pets and plants. And as we breathe in and out, we see that this light expands, enveloping loved ones far, near and far, neighbors, as it travels not only through our cities, states, and countries, but we see that we are all connected, the whole humanity on earth, in this light. And as we continue visualizing ourselves enveloped in this light, we follow the final prayer by our dear Paula.
Dear Mother, Father God, knowing now the importance of the prayer, we are here united, asking God to make us instrument to help the ones in need, the ones who are going through difficult times now, disease, suicidal thoughts, family problems, financial problems, all the ones in need. We want to be here united to ask, dear God, to protect and help all of us. I want to thank you too for this moment that we receive all this guidance to be more serene, to be more balanced in these difficult moments. Thank you, dear God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Mother Mary. Thank you, all the mentors of the Spirit Society of Virginia. And so be it.
You're mute.
Thank you, friends. And thank you, especially Dr. Tizen, for being here with us at this critical time on Earth, sharing so many important teachings and understandings. So thank you, Sergio. Thank you. Let us stay united and connected. For those who are home, let us not forget, today we learn lessons. We're always asked to go one step ahead. So if you still have a question, don't hesitate to make your question. You can either make here in one of the platforms, YouTube, Facebook, that we are streaming it, or to cardiacradio@gmail.com. And if you need to ask a question to Dr. Tizen, you may send it to us. We relay it to him. All right? So we wish you lots of blessings. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All my friends. Thank you, Sergio. Ah.
Bye-bye.
Lots of hearts.
See you again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.